Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda and this is my channel, Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life, and today we are kicking off the week 51 reading vlog in my car because Ronan and I are at the vet. He has been limping since the beginning of last week, which is not common for him, and it's not getting any better. He's still a little load-bearing, but he's been struggling getting up from like soft surfaces, and I just want to make sure my gimpy old man is okay. So we're here at the vet. He's gonna get checked out. He hasn't been like wincing or pulling away when we rub down his leg or anything, and so I'm not entirely sure what happened with him, whether he maybe pulled something and it's not bothering him too much. It just kind of hurts to put weight down. But hopefully we'll find something out. So this week I am off work and we are in full swing of 4 readathons now. So we've got our 3-month-long readathons that I'm participating in, which is the Reindeer Readathon, Cloak Dagger Christmas, and Create Your Own Holiday Adventure. I have one more prompt left to finish off for the pathway that I'm doing for Create Your Own Holiday Adventure, and then quite a few more for the other two. When I'm at home and actually have my planner in front of me, I can show you what I've got left. But now I'm doing I think it's like a 12-day readathon for the Oh What Fun Readathon. And I have a mug that I showed you at the end of last week that's a snowman, and I wrote down all the different prompts on pieces of paper and am pulling a prompt from the cup and then reading from there. So this is a readathon where there are there are 5 different prompts under naughty and 5 different prompts under nice. So on my papers, in red that represents naughty and green represents nice. So the first prompt I pulled yesterday was a naughty prompt, and that was to read a book by a Ghost of Christmas Past, which is an author who is no longer with us. And so for that I am reading The Chimes by Charles Dickens. I was able to get the audiobook for free from the Audible Plus catalog, and it's like a 3.5, 4-hour audiobook. But I've got my Barnes & Noble bind up of the 3 Christmas Stories by Charles Dickens, which is A Christmas Carol, The Cricket, and the Chimes, and the Cricket on the Hearth. So I'm currently probably halfway through with The Chimes, and I think it's going pretty well. I kind of understand what's going on. We've got this guy named Toby, who I think has fallen on a little bit of hard times, which is pretty typical for Charles Dickens characters. He has a daughter, I think her name is Meg, and they live, I believe, in kind of a barn, but not really. Like there's a fireplace and a like living dining area, and Meg has a room, and then I think Toby lives or sleeps in the barn upstairs. But his daughter Meg wanted to get married on on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, and there's this guy called something cute. What's his name? Who I think is kind of a solicitor type of person. Maybe someone in the government. His name is Alderman, and he basically like tried to talk her out of it. And then Toby meets this guy who I think he heard Alderman Cute and some other people talking about. They're like debt collectors, or they're people who loan out money, sort of thing. And he's got this little girl who I think is around like 6 years old, maybe 10 years old. And Toby ends up bringing them home, and right now he is at the church in the belfry because he was hearing the bells chime in what sounded like some sort of a message to him. So that's, I believe, what's going on. So I've got just a little bit left of this. Let's see. I'll show you. I think the book is, or this story is only something like 80 ish pages. So it's this chunk here, and you can see where my bookmark is. I'm about halfway through that. So I'll continue to read this. I can't recall if I have it down for Reindeer Readathon. So again, when I get home, we'll go over that. Other than that, I'm still listening to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I still have Vasa in the Night to finish, which I haven't finished yet, obviously. And I haven't read since, not yesterday Sunday, but the Sunday before. So we'll see how reading goes. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this clip now though, and that way I don't have to stop it awkwardly when the tech comes up to my car. And then I can actually give a breakdown of what all is going on with my reading plans for the week when I have my planner in front of me. So I will check in here soon. Ronan is currently at the vet's getting x-rays done, so that's a very, very big bill. So I'm super thankful that Skylar and I are savers, because this is something we can easily swing to get our boy checked out and figure out what's going on with him. Fingers crossed it's not anything that involves surgery, and it's just something that a lot of rest and mama and papa snuggles that will make him all better. But while I'm at home waiting for a call from the vet to go pick him up, I quickly wanted to run through kind of where I am with all of my readathons right now. I did just finish The Chimes by Charles Dickens, and I thought it was a really nice story for this season. Basically, Toby has the opportunity. It's kind of quite Christmas Carol-esque. Toby isn't visited by any ghosts, but he is visited by a goblin that shows him what it would be like if he listened to the pressures of society and people who kind of have influence over him because of their status in the community and things like that. So he gets the chance to see what would happen if they listened to the advice of the alderman to not have his daughter get married and things like that. And it ends up being a very sad future. So then when Toby wakes up, he doesn't realize that he is not deceased anymore. He doesn't realize that his daughter is unhappy, and that all these other things are going on, and they kind of just proceed as is and say, you know what, forget those people. We're gonna make our own choices, and everything's gonna be happy and fine. So that is one book down for the Oh What Fun Readathon, which I told you was my Ghost of Christmas pass. So in a minute, I'm gonna use this cup, which is typically my water cup for painting, that has pieces of paper in here, and I will pull my next prompt, but I wanted to go through really quickly and tell you where I am with all the other readathons. So, Cloak and Dagger Christmas, I am not using the chimes for, but I am using it for Create Your Own Holiday Adventure as the party animal. The first step on that is Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, which is to read a book with a musical element, and chimes in a church are quite musical, I feel like. So I've actually got 2 spaces marked off for Holiday Party Animal. I've got that one, and then Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, which is a book about a holiday other than Christmas. And then I still have one left for my Holiday Homebody Pathway, which is the one I originally chose, which is Someday at Christmas, and this is to read a book that gives you hope for humanity. So then I decided to rework my Reindeer Readathon TBR just a little bit to use the books that I had already read to fill prompts. That way I don't have to stress as the month continues to go on. So for Donner, that is worth 15 points, and the prompt is to read a book with something hidden inside, whether it's something under the dust jacket, chapter headers, art, etc. And in the chimes, this whole book is kind of illustrated in parts, but like this is the first section, or the section of the third quarter, which has very pretty drawings and stuff on it. So using that for Donner. And then for Blitzen, it's worth 20 points, and that's a book with some sort of struggle, whether it's an internal struggle, war, or battle. I do apologize. My sleep schedule is super off from this weekend, staying up late and then getting up relatively early to take the dog to the vet. So for Blitzen, I'm using 8 Winter Nights by Liz Maverick because the main character does struggle with unrequited love, which is kind of an internal struggle. So I've got Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Rudolph, and the Slaying It prompt left for that. So I would say I'm doing pretty well so far. I haven't done any other reading today. I've just finished the chimes. So now let's see if I'm continuing on the naughty path or if I get one for the nice path as well. So we'll give her a good shake and go fishing for a slip of paper. Okay, just a reminder, red is naughty and green is nice. Woo, we get a nice. Okay, so this one, ooh, I was hoping for this. It says read or sing along to a Christmas hymn. Back there is my violin. I was thinking of playing Silent Night as my singing, because I can sing decently well, but I thought it'd be fun since that's something I can do that not everyone can do, that I would interpret it as playing a song. So because this is only going to take like 3 minutes and is not a reading prompt, I'm going to go ahead and pull another and see what we come up with. Give her another good shake. Fish around in here. Okay. Oh no, naughty again. Okay, this is Ideal Summer Vacation Destination. So for this, I had picked to read The Christmas Sisters by Sarah Morgan, which takes place in Scotland. I think Scotland is an ideal vacation destination any time of the year, but especially for summer, I think just because it's got so much to see outside and so much in the way of like hiking possibilities that it would be really great to see in the summer. So 2 for naughty, 1 for nice. Not doing super well, but that is a book that I am going to start reading on Audible, not Audible. It's going to be, hello, it's going to be on script for me. So I'm going to wrap it up here and get some studying done before my boy gets home. And as I have more, I will definitely keep you posted. Mm-hmm. Bless you. Alright, quick update on Ronan before I get into my books. We brought him home. I brought him home on Monday after his x-rays, but their computers were down, so they weren't able to send the x-rays to the radiologist, and I haven't gotten a call back, so I never heard anything yesterday, which I was gonna update you all yesterday, but then I was waiting and then it never happened, and then I just never picked up my camera. So still waiting to hear back on if they were able to get his x-rays looked at yet. But the vet, from what she could tell, she didn't see anything concerning there were any like lumps or things that could potentially be cancerous, but she wouldn't be able to tell if there were anything like a tear or something like that on one of his ligaments, or if there's potentially something going on with the bone. So still waiting to hear back. He is on pain meds and anti-inflammatory right now. I've only been giving them to him with his breakfast. I can give them to him every 12 hours, but I don't really feel like he needs them at 8:30 at night when we're in bed, and then he's essentially just sleeping the rest of the day. So he seems to be doing pretty well with those just for the day, the little bit of getting up and moving about that he's doing. So just waiting to find out more, and if we need to put him on even more strict bed rest, or if there is something else that needs to be potentially scoped. So he's doing all right, just hobbling along. Still in good spirits though. He was super, super, super doped up. When I brought him home from the vet. So the clip before this is Skylar giving him some love, and him just, his eyes just being glazed over, and him enjoying it a lot. So he's doing all right, just in good spirits still, but still just hopping along. So as far as reading goes, I did start reading, listening to on Scribd, The Christmas Sisters by Sarah Morgan, which is a story about 3 sisters who were adopted by their parents' friend after an accident on Mount Rainier caused their parents to lose their lives. And we kind of switch back and forth. The chapters alternate between the sisters, so we get to see what's going on in their current lives, and as they fly home to Scotland to be with their adopted parents for Christmas, and the different things that are going on, and them just kind of like rebuilding and rekindling their relationships, and moving forward from the past, because a couple of them are still hung up on things, and that's preventing a lot of just like new milestones and things happening in their lives. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3-star rating. It was almost a 4-star rating. The most annoying part to me was the narration of one single word. I think the narrator was British, and I guess if you've never heard this name pronounced before, you might think it's French because of how it's spelled, but she kept pronouncing Mount Rainier as Renier, and when I first heard it, I was really confused because I knew they were talking about a mountain. I was like, I think this is Rainier they're talking about, but I don't know, maybe there's a mountain peak somewhere else called Renier that I've never heard of. And then at one point, I think it was from the mom Suzanne's point of view, she was talking about how she could see the mountain from her Seattle apartment window, and I was like, that's definitely Rainier. And I was telling Skylar about it, and I was listening to the book as I was wrapping presents last night, and I heard the narrator say it, so I like quickly stopped it and backtracked 30 seconds and ripped out my earbuds, and I said, you have to listen to this, and he was like, what are they even doing? So I thought it was really funny. If you've ever listened to the audiobook and you now think that the mountain is pronounced Renier, I'm here to inform you that it's not. It's Mount Rainier. And it's an absolutely gorgeous mountain peak. I'm super biased, but do quite enjoy that. So I really enjoyed the book, and just the Christmas cozy setting in the Highlands with the snow and the family coming together. I thought it was really great for the season. So as far as my readathons go, that only counts for the Oh What Fun Readathon, and like I had mentioned on Monday, I've got 1 prompt for nice and 2 for naughty, so I'm currently on the naughty list. I do need to get to studying here, but I thought it would be fun to pull my next prompt and see what I get. So fingers crossed it's nice. I don't, there is one book that I would really hope to get, which is on the nice category, and it's a middle grade holiday book. But other than that, I'm not too fussed. Sorry, about what book I pick up when. So, we'll see. Okay, that's a good shake. Ugh. I really don't want to be on the naughty list this year. We're going to go with this one. Is it red or green? It's red. We're still on the naughty list. Okay, this one is fewer than 200 pages. I was going to read The Cricket on the Hearth for this by Charles Dickens, which is the last book in the Christmas trilogy, I guess. So this one is, let's see, where does it stop? It's here. Just that little section. So 266 minus 182 is something like 84 pages. So definitely under 200. I don't think I have an audio version of this, so I think I will be reading it with my eyeballs unless I can find an audio version of it. I'm not 100% sure. But I do need to get to school now, so when I have another update, I will definitely check in with you. It's time for more reading updates because I still don't have a run-in update. I actually need to call the vet and see if they were able to get his x-rays looked at, since I haven't heard anything back yet. But reading, I had pulled out the prompt for Oh What Fun Readathon to read a book fewer than 200 pages, and I found on YouTube there was a reading of The Cricket on the Hearth. So that was about just under 4 hours long. I listened to it and got through this all in one night, which was absolutely perfect. One thing I really enjoy about this collection, I think out of these 3 books, A Christmas Carol is definitely my favorite, but I like that they each kind of pull elements from A Christmas Carol. It feels like the stories are very connected, even though they're not, and they don't have overlapping characters or anything like that. But for the chimes, you kind of have that opportunity to see into the future and make changes in the present so that you can have a better future, which happens to Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol. And then in The Cricket on the Hearth, you have kind of a grumpy character who, through loneliness, understands that he kind of needs to change his ways a little bit in order to be accepted and part of a group and to not feel lonely anymore. So I really liked those kind of overlapping themes of this. I think this is a really good collection. I'll probably at some point end up rereading The Chimes and The Cricket on the Hearth, but definitely I know A Christmas Carol, even though I didn't read it this year, is going to be a story that I reread throughout the years, especially when our family grows and things like that. So for let's see, Create Your Own Holiday Adventure, I put this on the pathway of Kid at Heart, which that song was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and this is a book with red on the cover, and this has quite a bit of red throughout it. And then this wasn't originally on my Reindeer Readathon TBR, but I did put it in for comment, which is worth 30 points, and that is to read an intimidating book. And for me, short stories are really intimidating because I like a lot of time with characters to watch them grow and develop. This is also a classic, which I used to read a bit more in the past. I've been really just fantasy focused for the past probably year or two. So getting back into classics and making sure that I can actually like pay attention and understand what's going on is a little intimidating to me. But also Charles Dickens' Great Expectations is my favorite book of all time. And it's always a little intimidating going into books written by an author who has written your favorite book, because what if that book doesn't hold up as well or doesn't meet your expectations like your favorite book did. So It was a bit intimidating for me, but overall went pretty easy and I enjoyed the story. So, another book done. That is also another book completed off of my physical TBR because I had 2 stories left in this to read and did, so that feels really good in my TBR prior to 2020 starting. So, as far as The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I am still making progress in the audiobook. I got a good chunk of it listened to today. I'm over the halfway mark now, and I'm enjoying this, which I'm really surprised by because I've only read 3 books by Victoria Schwab before, which is the name she uses for her young adult and middle grade books. So I have never read anything written under V.E. Schwab, which is what she writes for her adult books. And I read the Monsters of Verity duology. I really liked The Savage Song. I did not like Our Dark Duet. And then I also read City of Ghosts, which I did not like at all. So I was a little bit hesitant to go into this book because I was thinking that V.E. Schwab was not an author for me. And I am actually really enjoying this, which I'm surprised by also because this book's been getting a lot of hype and I don't typically have the same thoughts or feelings about popular books as a lot of people do, but this one's really good. Like I mentioned earlier, I really like character-driven stories, and this one is pretty much 100% character-driven. We're following Addie as right now in the story. She's in present day, which is 2014, and she has met the person who remembers her. And there's something unique about this person, which is why they're able to remember her. And then also still kind of going back into the past, not as often anymore, and seeing what kind of led up to getting her to New York and how the curse has impacted her life since it's been placed on her. So I think it's about 50 years. I think it was 50 years was the last check-in since the curse was initially placed on her, and just seeing how much life has changed since that time. So I'm really intrigued to see where this goes. I have no idea when I'm going to finish it up, but it needs to be soon because I've got the audiobook out from my library, and I want to say I've only got 7 or 8 days left on the hold. So I need to finish that up because I want to keep the audiobook. I want to keep listening to it as an audiobook. So for the rest of the day, I ran around town a little bit with my dad. So I haven't had any study time, and now Sky is going to be home in about an hour. So I think I'm going to study for about an hour. And then I believe Eric just asked a couple hours ago, I'm not sure if it's 100% set in stone, but I think we are going to do a live stream reading sprint on his channel for either an hour or 2 hours this evening. It'll be, I think he mentioned possibly 7 to 8 or 7 to 9 Eastern time, which is 4 to 6, 4 to 5 or 4 to 6, depending on if we do an hour or 2. So for that, I am going to kick my butt into gear and try and get a good chunk of Vesa and the Night Red, try and finish it out. But I also want to go ahead and pick my next prompt for the Oh What Fun Readathon. I'm hoping, because this doesn't end until December 23rd, so we've got 6 days left, a little under a week. Oh my gosh, no, it's a week until Christmas Eve today. Wow. So yes, 6 days, because it ends on Christmas Eve. So I'm hoping I'll be able to read all of the prompts within this, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick another one. The only one if I get it, I'm not going to read it right now, is A Book Set in Your Ideal Winter Vacation Destination, because the book I have planned to read for that, I think I should be able to start tomorrow with Rainy. So forget what I just said. We'll see what prompt comes up. Oh, I've got a better chance now because I've got 4 nice prompts left and only 2 naughty prompts left. So I've got a better chance now of pulling a nice prompt, but I have a feeling it's going to be another naughty prompt, so we'll see. Okay. Oh, it's green. It's a nice prompt. Okay, so this says Ghost of Christmas Present. So that is to read a book by an author who is still currently with us. And I don't have a book picked for this. I think what I want to read is, if I've got it still, and I have to check on the author, but I think what I want to read is on Scribd. Please say I can still read it. And it's Mr. Dickens and His Carol. Gotta find it really fast. I've got all these saved books. Oh, yes, there it is. Okay, whew. Alright, so it's this book here, Mr. Dickens and His Carol, which I just can't get enough of Charles Dickens right now. So, and this is written by Samantha Silva and narrated by Ewan Morton. It's an 8-hour, 9-minute audio book. And let me look up Samantha Silva. Make sure she is still with us. I'm just going to Goodreads. Because if I look up the author, it should say. Ooh, she's based out of Idaho. Yes, from what I can tell, she is still living. So, that should work. Alright, I'm gonna get to studying now, and when I have an update, maybe after the live stream, if we're doing it, I will check in and let you know how I'm getting on with Vasa in the Night. I have a reading update, but first I wanted to tell you guys something that I thought was a little funny. I started editing this vlog up until the last clip yesterday and noticed that I was wearing a gray shirt in every single clip, and I wanted to keep that going, but clearly I'm wearing black and red, so I ruined it, but that's okay. So my reading update is that I just finished The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I'm giving it a 4-star rating, which I'm really surprised by because, like I had mentioned, I haven't previously liked any of Victoria Schwab's books before, but I think her adult is going to agree with me a lot more. So I did really enjoy this book, but I will say that the middle part, after we meet the person who remembers Addie, we learn why they remember her, and that part kind of drug a little bit too much for me. So I still like the back and forth storytelling aspect of this, how we would go back in time and see Addie in the years basically leading up to the present time, which was 2014. Something I also really liked about this is that usually in like historical fiction books, when you see dates a lot more, my birthday is at the end of July, and usually the events will happen just before my birthday and just after my birthday. But in this book, July 29th and 30th, which my birthday is on the 30th, were 2 main dates. It didn't matter what year, it was just those days of that month in particular were very important to the story. So I thought it was fun to see my birthday all the time. But as far as reading prompts go, I do have a quick update on the Create Your Own Holiday Adventure. So I forgot to mention that I counted the Christmas Sisters under the Kid at Heart pathway for the first song, which is Frosty the Snowman, and that's Read a Book with Snow on the Cover. And then for The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, that is on the Holiday Animal Party prompt with City of Silver Dreams as the song title, and it's a read a book set in a big city. primarily this book takes place in New York, but it also takes place in Paris and like Munich and a couple other big cities in Europe and stuff like that. So plenty of big cities. Doesn't work for Cloak and Dagger Christmas, and I didn't have it down for the Oh What Fun Readathon. So the only other readathon The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue counts for me is the Reindeer Readathon, and this goes under the Rudolph prompt, which is to read a book about a character who's a bit of a misfit or doesn't fit in, and Addie LaRue is definitely that, because it's hard to fit in when people can't remember you. So that is, I think, a 20 point prompt, which means I only have 3 prompts left for the Reindeer Readathon. I have Prancer, Vixen, and Slaying It. So really exciting. I'm glad I've been reworking my books that I've been reading onto this readathon. That way, I don't feel like I'm still super far behind. So events for tonight, or I guess extra reading plans. Eric and Hillary are going to be doing a live reading sprint for an hour and a half on Eric's channel tonight. It runs from 8 to 9:30 Eastern time, so that should be 5 to 6:30 Pacific time. I'm not joining in because it's a Maddie weekend, and I think the Christmas trivia is going to happen on Sunday, so I don't want to miss out on time with Maddie Boy 2 times in one weekend with him, just because we get him so not so often. So I am going to skip out on the live reading sprint tonight, but I might participate in the chat and read along, like when Maddie's in the shower, or if he wants to watch one of his TV shows that you know, we're not the most interested in. If I do that, I am going to focus on reading Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter, because I really just want to finish that. And then I think tomorrow Rainey and I are going to start reading Wedding in December by Sarah Morgan. But I'm not 100% sure. It all depends on when she can get the audiobook from Scribd. I think her subscription like renews tonight or something like that. So I'm basically gonna wait to find out when she gets that book, and then we can start on that. And then the current audiobook I'm gonna have going right now is Mr. Dickens and His Carol. So I think I'm going to start listening to that right now and put points in the spreadsheet. That way Sunday evening I don't have as many points to put in the spreadsheet. So I'm going to get going on listening to that while I wait for the boys to get home and relax. Other than that, I'm going to put a new set of nails on tonight from Color Street, and yep, I think that's it. So I will check in when I've got more updates.
Knit one, purl two, knit one, purl two, knit one, that's right.
Nanny, I can't remember anything at all. Haku could be dead already and I'm just sitting around here. My mom and dad could have been eating for dinner.
Right, it is time to wrap this vlog up because we're being lazy today and watching Harry Potter. We started the second movie last night and finished it today. And then we decided to jump right into the third movie. So before Maddie Boy goes home, we're going to finish that up. But he ran across to my parents' house to help my mom roll out Christmas cookies and cut them out and stuff. So he's doing that. We're taking a little break. So I figured it would be a really good time for me to wrap this up, finish editing. That way I don't miss out on more time with him. So as far as reading, I finished Vasa in the Night, finally. I stayed up the other night when I said I would and just finished it. It barely got a 3-star rating, but it somehow managed a 3-star rating. I don't know. I think I don't think. I'm definitely going to be unhauling this. It was not what I expected it to be. It just didn't, it wasn't the story I wanted, and it took me like over a month to read. So definitely not one I want to pick up again, not one that I really want my kids to pick up, so that's gonna find a new home. I've been listening to Mr. Dickens and His Carol, but back up really quickly. So that book, nope, never mind. Back up to the previous thing, Mr. Dickens and His Carol. I was gonna tell you what Vasa and the Night counted for, and as far as readathons, but it didn't count for anything because I started before December. So I've been listening to Mr. Dickens and His Carol, and I've got maybe like 5 hours left, and I'm really enjoying that. I think it's a fun interpretation of Charles Dickens' life at the point that he wrote A Christmas Carol. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes and the rest of the story and things like that. And then I started my next buddy read with Rainy yesterday. I only got a chapter in, but we are reading A Wedding in December by Sarah Morgan, which is also, I think it was a prompt for the Reindeer Readathon, but I think I filled that prompt now. So I'm sure it'll fit somewhere in on the Create Your Own Holiday Adventure board. And it definitely works for the Oh What Fun Readathon. I did not pick this prompt out of the mug. I haven't picked a prompt since Read a Book from a Ghost of Christmas Present, which is Mr. Dickens and His Carol. This one I do have for that readathon, and I'm just going to plop it in because it is going to be my ideal winter vacation destination because it takes place in Aspen, Colorado, which I think would be gorgeous to visit during the winter time especially. So I've got 2 books then to carry over into next week. I've got A Wedding in December and then Mr. Dickens and His Carol. Next week is a short week for me. We've got a half day. Sky's off on Thursday, to Christmas Eve. I have a half day. We'll be going down south to visit his grandpa, and then on Christmas Day I've got off, and so does Sky, and we will be going to my brother's house to celebrate with my parents. So good things to come next week. Really looking forward to it, seeing how everyone likes their Christmas presents and just being with family and things like that. So, as always, I would love to know what you read this week, what you got up to. If you're feeling super overwhelmed for Christmas next week, if you're just easy breezy because you're way ahead of the game and got things done early, even if you don't celebrate Christmas, what do you have planned for the last full week of the year? Oh my goodness. Yeah, just all those things. So if you feel so inclined, please do let me know down in the comments below, and I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!